Welcome to
House of Whimsical Terror.
I'm Esther.
I'm Mary.
And we're coming to you from Tucson, Arizona.
And we're telling real stories of the fantastical.
All of our stories are true or told to us as true.
Occasionally, we alter the names to protect privacy.
And we do the same for places sometimes.
And today's story is
Whistling in the Woods.
Oh,
I love this story. I've heard it. You haven't heard it.
Heard it.
It's going to be a treat for you.
Mm-hmm.
And we have our good friend, Bridget Todebottom, today.
I'm so excited. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, of course. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely.
And this happened to you in the woods, and it involved whistling, but it's much more involved. It's a bizarre story, and I love it, and I'm terrified.
Sounds really creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Super creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So let's go back in time to when this happened to you.
Yeah, so this was quite some time ago, maybe about 6 or 7 years ago when I was still in college, with some friends and my boyfriend as well. We decided to do a fun road trip up to, we went all along the PCH up the California coast and through Oregon and through Washington and then in Montana where this story actually takes place. So being in college, we were, broke college kids and we were on a tight budget. So we were kind of camping along in every place. This was like a 2-week trip and we camped every night or we stayed at some friends if we had friends in those cities.
Yes.
We didn't know anybody in Montana. So we were camping a lot. Yeah.
Lots of camping.
Yeah, so lots of camping. And so one night in particular, this was just with my good friend, we'll call her Karen, and then my boyfriend, Phelan. We had a fun night out in Bozeman, Montana, and we had one, I think my friend at that time was the DD for the night, so the designated driver, and we had a good time at some bars, and then we're like, all right, well, it's getting kind of late. We need to find a camping ground to go to sleep for the night. And so, we get going on a road, and it says that there's camping ground somewhere on Google Maps, and so we're like, okay, great, let's go to this place. We get going on this road and kind of quite some ways into the mountains. And we're driving for, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes or so. And we finally get to the campsite. And this campsite is clearly abandoned. There's no, you don't have to pay. There's no other cars.
Wow.
No other campers at all. Totally empty.
So there's nothing out there in the mountains of Montana?
Yeah, exactly. Hills and mountains and 30 minutes outside of Bozeman.
Wow.
So we were surprised that it even showed up as a campsite really, on Google Maps. We were like, hey, you know what? Don't have to pay for a campsite.
Right.
Yeah.
Bonus.
Nobody's here. It's already 1 or 2 in the morning, so we're we're only going to go to sleep for 6 or 7 hours and we'll get out of here. So we're perfect. We start setting up. We were just sleeping in hammocks. We had some tents, but it was late. We're like, oh, let's just set up our hammocks. We had a little fire going for a little bit and then we got pretty tired. So we each crawl in to our hammock. And within about, I want to say 5 to 10 minutes, we see a car pull up into the parking lot. And so we're kind of watching this car and it's driving a little bit slow. And then it pulls up right next to our car, the only car in the parking lot, and turns its lights off.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
And it's not like this is 7, 8 o'clock. This is 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So who's, it's rare that you would have been looking for it at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And, we could have maybe fallen asleep, but it was so interesting that it just happened a couple minutes after we tried to go to bed, after staying up a little bit. And we had a little fire, but yeah. And so immediately we're kind of on alert a little bit, we're like,
Sure.
why is this car?
Smart to be on alert at this point.
Yeah, there wasn't much smartness and many hard decisions going on yet. But yeah, so we start kind of talking to each other a little bit. We're like, did you see that car? That's a little strange. And we're feeling a little uneasy. And so we all just kind of stay in our hammocks for like another maybe 10 minutes or so. We're like looking for headlights, looking to see if like the car would turn back on and, leave or something. And nothing happens. It's like,
no one gets out of it? Nothing?
No one gets out of it. We don't hear any car doors. We don't hear anything. And so at this point, my boyfriend, like, maybe I'll just go like check it out, just like see if, if they're even still there, like what happened, And so he gets up and starts walking over there. And then we hear him go, guys, the car's gone.
Oh,
what?
Weird.
Yeah. And so we're like, wait, what? Like, we did not hear the engine start. We did not see the lights go back on. And yeah, and keep in mind, like, our car and this car were both, like, facing us. So, like, if we were to turn on our headlights, we would be shining the headlights onto our campsite.
And it's dark. It's night, so you're going to really see those headlights.
Yeah.
Totally, yeah. No other lights, And we saw them when they pulled up, like, we were getting kind of shined with their headlights. We were probably, like, 30 feet away from them still, so it wasn't, like, right there. But, yeah, if they turned on their headlights or turned on their car, we totally would have, been shined by that.
Wow.
We didn't hear anything. We didn't hear any, leaving of the car, nothing. All of a sudden, it just, like, wasn't there.
Weird.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we're a little freaked out, and we're just like, that was really weird, and we're, like, looking around and seeing, maybe it went to a different part of the parking lot. Like, no, car's just gone.
Whoa.
And so we're just like, okay, that was really strange. And so, like, well, but we're out here in the middle of nowhere. And by that time, our DD did have, like, a couple of beers, while we were lighting the fire and stuff. And so, like, well, we can't leave. But, 6 more hours, like, let's just, stick it out. That was weird, but it's fine.
Right.
And so we all kind of crawl back into our hammocks after chatting a little bit longer and, calming ourselves down. We're like, it's fine. And so then we go back into our hammocks and try to go to sleep. And within a couple of minutes, we hear in the woods behind us, so opposite of the parking lot, we hear, like, human whistling.
What?
Like, to a tune.
Oh.
Yeah. And this, so if somebody's behind us, that would mean, like, somebody would have had to walk from the parking lot or the road that was in front of us, go around us in order to get there. Like, there's no other way to be in those woods behind us.
Oh.
In the dark, or if they had a flashlight, you would have noticed the flashlight.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So we hear this whistling, and I'll just shoot out of our hammocks. What was that?
Right.
And once we get up, it, like, stops for a bit, and then we're silent again, just like that. Maybe it was the wind, through the trees. Like, that was really strange. We're all kind of silent again, listening, and sure enough, like, probably sounded like maybe like 20 to 30 feet away behind us, more whistling to a tune.
Ooh.
Yeah. And we're like, that's for sure human whistling. And it was loud, and it just felt like it was coming closer. So we just ran to the car. And we all sat in the car for maybe another hour, and just nothing happened. Yeah, we all just kind of sat there, and after a good amount of time, we went back to our hammocks and fell asleep for maybe like 4 hours and got out of there in the morning, and we saw no other cars, no nothing. And the next morning, it was a creepy night.
You are so brave.
Super creepy.
You are
night.
so brave.
Yeah.
So it's strange, like this car pretty much vanishes.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, this strange whistling
in the woods behind the abandoned campsite.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, God.
And in the middle of nowhere, 30 minutes outside of any major city.
Mm-hmm.
It just through windy woods and
I can't believe that you guys still stayed and went to sleep in your hammocks. I'd be like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to be locked in the car. Good luck.
Right. Yeah. We had just slept in the car so much that trip already too. And we had everything set up, and I think we just all kind of convinced each other, like, oh, it's just late. Like, it was probably the woods, like the wind through the woods or something. But no, the next morning we were all like, that was a tune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a human sound. But
Yeah.
who knows what had happened at some point out there.
Right.
Right. So we all kind of chalk it up to something paranormal, as opposed to like people messing with us. But it was really scary, and I still get chills thinking about it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I wonder
terrifying.
what, the car just vanishing was some kind of experience that someone had at one point.
At one point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I always say the land holds the stories.
The land holds the stories, and you were right there.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was really creepy, and I'm not a big camper, and now probably less so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the last times I ever went camping. We're not really campers anymore. Yeah.
I don't blame you.
I don't blame you.
I would not be either.
Yeah.
I wonder if that campground actually even really exists.
Right?
Oh, what?
Right?
Oh, Mary.
They just found it on Google Maps. Like, was it
something
really?
led you there to witness something?
Right.
They wanted you to be witness to something.
Yeah. Oh, I'm getting the chills again.
Yeah.
Oh, Bridget, thank you for that
so
story.
much.
That was excellent.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you're able to join us.
And we hope that you'll come back and be a guest again.
Of course. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love this podcast, so I would, of course, love to.
Thank you, Bridget.
And thank you to our listeners for joining us. And we hope that you will also come back and listen to more stories. And for now, so long, good friends. Until next time, when we meet back at the house.